Good morning. Good morning, Europe. Good night, America. And good evening, Asia. I am Simone Incontro, General Manager of Verona Fiere in China. And today, actually, we are talking, we are lucky because we have a fantastic panel with people we admire for the wine industry and the wine education, from the e-commerce and also as opinion leaders. Beside me, we have Alan Hu, which is the CEO of Shenzhen Paco Communication. At the same time, we are very lucky here, and we have connected from Beijing, Qinxia Yan. She's the Vice President of Sanlong JD Group. She has done a terrific job with the live streaming, probably one of the most impressive live streaming job during this disaster time with the COVID and the pandemic. Then we have Liang Liang, which is the Chief Operation Officer and Wine Educator of Grapia, and simply is also Vinitaly International Awards 2019. Is a terrific educator, is a wonderful business development manager. He stayed with us with Vinitaly China Roadshow. He did with his team a fantastic job. Then I have the privilege to present in Italy, in Europe, finally, Jim Boyce, let's say the man who discovered Ningxia many years ago, before many other people say they discovered Ningxia. And he's an eclectic, fantastic person, generous, visionary. He is probably one of the largest experts of Baijiu and Chinese wine in the world. He cooperates with Wine Searcher, with Moninger. He created Great Wall of China. He knew, he started where the real business of wine started in China. He did a fantastic job. We're very happy, Jim, you're here with us. He's also from Beijing. Then we have Julie Tu. Julie Tu is not a person, let's say, in the wine industry. She's in the wine and spirits industry. She's the mastermind behind the success of Sober Company, which is considered one of the top bar in the world and in Asia. And she's actually very, very famous. All the people in the industry, in the cocktail, in the spirits, they want to know her. They want to get in contact with her. She's even more interested in wine. I know she has a kind of passion for natural wine as well. She maybe will tell something about this as well. So actually, this is the panel. So it's a young team. They are very enthusiastic, energetic. And what is the topic? I try to be as quick as possible to explain during this difficult time that, as we know, America, Europe is really struggling right now. So we are big hug from China, from all of us, first of all, and I hope all the family stay safe and well. That's the number one thing for us. In the same time, in Beijing, in Shanghai, in Shenzhen, we try to do our best. I also want to tell something which is real. Real means we are going to have Wine to Asia next Friday. At the same time, even China has some issue with the virus. It's not that the number that you know, but just to give you an idea, even the people with the Natural Wine Pavilion, which I thank very much to join Wine to Asia, they are going to make the test from Shanghai in order to come to Shenzhen, because in Shanghai and Chengdu, they found some cases. So even here, it's not like the holiday, it's the heaven that everybody is mentioning. So it's also a difficult time, but at the same time, we try to do our best. And I would like to share with all the people that participate with what is going to happen. But first, let me say what Verona Fiere is doing. That's the wonderful thing. Even in these difficult times, we are going to have a wine-to-wine exhibition, digital edition, and wine-to-wine forum. It's going to be all digital, and it's fantastic because we start from Shenzhen, 2021, 21 on Saturday in Verona. We are going to have a very, very important forum with people from all around the world, from all the wine industry, and then we are going to start the wine-to-wine digital edition exhibition, and then the forum. So we try to do our best to connect the people of the industry to each other, even if it's not possible to meet face-to-face. That's what we are going to do it. So let me thank all the team, Margherita, Simone, and the back office, all the brand in Italy, IT department, everybody, social media to end. Thanks all the team for what you have done. Thanks everybody. But now let's go back to China. Let's go back to China and we start with Cinzia. Cinzia, first of all, thank you very much. Very briefly for the people that maybe they were not connected at the beginning. Cinzia, actually, she is a person very, very important in the commerce in China. She's one of, actually, the pioneer. Let's say before there was Yes My Wine and other platforms. Then, as you know, everybody all around the world is Alibaba. Alibaba, Jingdong is recently also PinDuoDuo. But Jingdong actually has a fantastic portfolio of wine. They really care about wine. It's not just entry level or OEM, even if maybe Cinzia can explain later. But the wonderful thing that Cinzia did was something connected to live streaming. So that's the question I'm going to ask her now about the live streaming. Thank you, Cinzia.
Thank you, Simon. Hi, everybody. This is Cinzia. As Simon introduced, I was in charge of the wine business around 8 years in JD.com. And this year, I just joined another company. This company is invested by JD.com and the Solon Group. So I were in charge of maybe more wine business because we will use this company. My new company named Gathering Elephant. So this company will help JD to import wines all over the world. Yeah. So thank you, Simon, for your trust. So of course, I want to share something about the e-commerce wine business for this year. Just to give you some information. For example, we just finished the Double 11, right? So in the 11th November this year, for JD's liquors business, the first 2 minutes, our revenue is around 200 million for all the alcohol products. And also for the wine business, it's quite good. For example, the Lafite BBR. So the gross rating of the gross rating for the avenue is 600%. So it's really exciting news. Okay, and of course, I want to share something about my live streaming because now I have a nickname. It's Mrs. 7 for why. Yeah, so because I started to do live streaming on JD.com from May. Yeah, on May. Yeah, because as we know that this year is really tough, so everybody cannot go out. So actually, for JD's business, is growing very fast because, as you know, JD has very good logistics support. So even during the various time, so the other platform they cannot finish the delivery, but JD can because our logistics we cover around 99% for Chinese area. So we want to do some innovation for the promotion because we cannot meet each other. That's why we started to live streaming. So because I've been in the wine industry around 11 years, so I traveled more than around 41 countries, including I think half of them are wine countries. Yeah, because so I know where about the wine region, about the wine and fruit matching. Especially with the Chinese food. So I'm the host for this Mrs. 7 to do JD's wine live streaming. Until now, I did around more than 100 live streamings now. And also my audience is more than 1 million. Yeah, more than 1 million people that watched my my live streaming. Yeah, so usually we because for most of the live streamings, maybe they just invite some beautiful ladies to repeat the tasting notes and the price. Yeah, but for our live streaming, we want to share the region's history, the wine culture, and also the food matching. Yeah, different, even some wine knowledge to teach the audience. That's why now we have more and more followers for my account on JD.com. So now Mrs. 7 is the only one official live streaming account on JD.com. So we continue to do important live streaming for during different promotion, and also one hand, this will give a lot of a lot of exposure for the products, and especially for the new products. And secondly, this we can help the brand owner to penetrate the Chinese market. Yeah, and even sometimes, so we have some digital innovation promotion. So we will link with the other social apps. For example, the Douyin, the Kuaishou, different apps to do the live streaming together. We can use just the links on JD.com. Yeah, and another way we do is about the short video. So because we will link with the live streaming to make some short videos around maybe 3 minutes to 5 minutes, just to how to say, maybe we will look the winery information, even the winemaker, and also the products, and most importantly, where to buy something like this. So usually, I think this year, I think it's the fastest way to penetrate to the market, because as my experience, once we did live streaming and also a short video, for example, on end of July, because I did the live streaming for the 2019 Primo Bordeaux wine, the Bordeaux Primo wine in Shanghai. So because we link all the JD's wine products, yeah, it's thousands of products. We change all the advertisement words, the link to my live streaming room. So just that day, the live streaming is around 4 hours, but it's around 500,000 people. They watching this live streaming. And also we did some how to say, we used WeChat to connect with the winery owner and also the winemaker to share something, to introduce the wines with the audience. So it's really interesting. And after that, we make the short video so that, for example, the CIVB, they can use to promote this from the other media way. So it's very successful and popular. So I want to say that, so firstly, yeah, of course, thanks to my audience, yeah, and secondly, I want to share the innovation, especially the digital promotion, is really important. It will be more and more important. So I hope more and more people, maybe I want to invite you to do this kind of promotion together in the future.
That's okay, yeah. Cynthia, thank you very much. If everybody, this is the first round, so don't worry, I'm gonna make a little bit more difficult question to Cynthia later, because I know how also the winemakers want to know. So let me go back. Thank you, Cynthia, for the first part of your speech. Let me go back now, because I was actually a little bit forgetting. The focus, as we said, is the consumers. As we know, the consumers become more and more central in the strategy of each brand of wineries and also importers. This is very important. We cannot hide two important elements. One element is that the consumption of wine per capita is 1.2 liters. So it's very little compared to Italy, Europe, and even America. Remember about this, 1.2 liters. Actually, the GAV general manager in China, Marco Pizzoli, which I say hello if he's online, remind me always this, 1.2 liters per capita. This is a number we cannot forget. At the same time, we don't forget the decline of the market. The market right now is almost one-third. We lost almost 1/3 of the market. So let me go back before Leon, because actually I forget, and this is something I feel very guilty. I need Alan. Alan Hung is our general manager of the new show, Wine to Asia in Shenzhen. He's from Guangdong. together, he organized the success of Chengdu, first in Kempinski, then Shangri-La, and next year, Intercontinental Hotel. He's a partner of Verona Fiera in more than 6 years. We signed a joint venture, but I don't want to be advertorial. So I would like Alan to share some opinion about when to Asia quickly, and mainly the market, because we don't have to forget about the importers and the winemakers.
Hello, everyone. This is Alan from Shenzhen, the key cities of Greater Bay Area of South China. As some of you already know, that we will organize our first edition Wine to Asia Shenzhen International Wine and Spirit Fair in 3 days. In this edition, there are about 200 exhibitors from 8 countries, including national and regional pavilions from Italy, from Chile, China, and Rioja participating. And there will be 12 master classes and 2 industry forums also at our fairs. We expect these B2B trade shows will attract many professional buyers from Greater Bay Area and also the neighboring cities and provinces like Fujian, Hainan, Guangxi, and we also welcome those visitors from Shanghai, Beijing, and Chengdu, and other cities. 2020 actually is a tough year for wine markets with a lot of changes we are all facing. And wine merchants are willing to spend more time on consumer group studies compared to before. According to my knowledge and my discoveries, the young generations in China are becoming the main consuming group of the wine. And these young generations means the futures of the Chinese wine markets. The markets of Chinese wine is enlarging and shows huge potential in the futures. To me, I'm very confident about the future of Chinese wine market. So I hope to listen to more experts about this, about Chinese consumer and Chinese wine markets. Thank you.
Thank you, Alan. Thank you, Alan. And let me go back actually to the point that Alan pointed out, and probably he's the right person. It was the right rundown at the end, because a gentleman from Shanghai who knows a lot about cuisine from China. He explained me every time we meet about very interesting meals from different cities, and he's passionate about wine and about fine wine, about education. And he's a wonderful entrepreneur, brilliant entrepreneur, Leon, also a friend. I'm very proud of this. Leon actually, when we asked him at Capita to join us in the Vinitaly China Roadshow, he already made, and this actually, the Vinitaly China Roadshow was B2B officially, but at the same time, the concept of masterclasses was already B2C. Why? Because in Shanghai, he did with Lindsay Hub, our Vinitaly International Academy expert. They've done women and wine. So something very, very interesting. At the same time, in Chengdu, the only master sommelier, Lu Yang, was already considering which kind of wine, it at that time was Italian wine, is pairing in fine dining. So as you can see, the concept of Rapia, the school that Leon found, is already focused on the consumers. It's very difficult to say how many types of consumers exist. Probably nobody knows, no even other very big survey studies. But I am happy to share with all of you the experience of Leon. Thanks, Leon, if you can help us on this.
Yeah, thank you, Simone. And I shall also thank you, Alan and Qingxia, because I think part of their audience probably come to be our new students for Great Peer School. So I'm Liang Liang. I'm based in Shanghai, and we do have 10 branches in the whole mainland China. We can have the for me, it's very big educational program. So every year we can achieve around thousands of students to join us at WSET level 2 and level 3. So nowadays, after I read more feedback from different markets, different cities, I get to think, I get to read more for the market details. So Simone gave me some of the points to say, let's say the difference between some first tier cities and to the others. My point of view, it's just like different stage of wine. Because if we go back to see the development of different kind of wine markets, even in Italy, we do have Chianti wine and also Brunello di Montalcino premium wine. And also I think just because they are in different stage, so I can tell some of the not first tier cities, the people, they are thinking more about enjoyment. They would like to drink. Their questions is all about how it tastes like, how about the price, if I want to buy, where to go. But if you go for the first tier cities, they do have a lot of wine. They have different premium restaurant, they have very 5-star hotels. So that kind of person, they do really prefer more for the knowledge. And I think it's knowledge dominate market. And if you're talking about the very top 3 Brunello di Montalcino from Italy, everyone would like to buy. So I think just they are different markets. And if you're talking about why this kind of young people, young consumer, why they are like that important, I think we are trying to doing something to helping them to have a new consumption or consuming behavior. For me, it's really important. Let's say if we go for Italy, every time when we take bread, we have the olive oil and also we have vinegar. So after year by year, people get used to go with the bread with that. But in the United States, you say people go with butter. So it is really different. And in China, it's another story. So for the young people, I mean, they are the future of our markets. So really important to launch them via, like Chinzia, we do live streaming. Like the other, like we do very popular in the first tier cities, we do have wine school. We're trying to talk with them to helping them know more details about the different things like climate, soil, different region, even the very different name of Italian grape. I think day by day, we're trying to get them get more familiar with different details about wine. And for us, very important is Italian person, they are really lucky because, you know, the 4 top most popular food, Western food in Chinese market, they are pizza, spaghetti, steak, and also I think burger. So I think 3 of them, you find them in Italian food. Yeah, so for me, it's very convincing to telling people that if you're enjoying Western food, you can go with Italian wine. So this for me is a very good news. So every people, they would like to say, yeah, if they go for the Italian restaurant, because it's really popular in Chinese markets, you can enjoy with the Italian wine. And also one of the key is how we go expanding with the knowledge part. I think Chinese people, they are really curious for different things. So let's say some of the words, they are not looking too much on different type of food. But Chinese people, they would liking to enjoy different kind of food. So for us, it's a new market. We can launch him with different type of wine, different kind of grape variety. I think that part is also very popular and very important for our market. And last but not least, I think why everything get changed day by day. It's really difficult for us because you see some of the markets, they are not so open to all of the wine. They change slowly, like more inland part of mainland China. But when we go to the coastal region, like Shanghai, like Guangzhou, Shenzhen, we get really close to the coastal region. And that coastal region, they are really open for new wines. In Chinese, there is a saying to say, if we can change part of China, then we gain the whole part of the mainland China. So for us, it's really important. So now we are trying to do the same thing. I think we are underway, and I'm very confident to say future of wine in this market.
Perfect. Thank you, Leon. Thank you. Yes, I completely agree with you. Actually, your words made me think what the general manager, Remy Martin, wrote in China Daily, that he said, for instance, the market we have seen now in terms of size and taste, it will be completely different from the market that it will be in the future, in the last 3-5 years. Just think about it, the success of the coffee bar. They told me, like, in Shanghai, just in the city of Shanghai, there are 4,000 coffee bars. I remember my first time in China, 2008, there were only maybe Starbucks, some Costa coffee, and some other UBC coffee. So the change is unbelievable. Consider the success of the cakes or the ice cream. So there's of the cocktails that later Julie will mention to us. So let me go back to somebody who is very curious, who studied from Beijing, which is it's not that easy city sometimes, but he always think, and I'm talking about Jim Boyce, consumer matter, the consumption of wine matter. So the question, he also wrote a very interesting article about the durian, which is a fruit that is smelling a little bit terrible. Actually, the sales of durian are larger than the importing wine in China, just to give you an idea. At the same time, this gentleman, Jim Boyce from Canada, living many years in China, is WSET1 since 2006, and is very proud of that. Can you please, Jim, explain why consumption is important? Who are the consumer? What the consumer expect? How they make consumption of alcohol, wine, baijiu, beer, etc. Thank you, Jim.
Thank you, Simone. For me, this year has been a reality check. I don't think it's just a reality check for the numbers, but it's also a reality check for wine education, because we've been told wine education is a solution for 10 years, and I don't see any link between wine education and consumption. So that's not to criticize the people. I think it's a systematic problem. So the good news for imported wine is 3 or 4 years ago, people said imported wine was 80%. No, sorry, domestic wine was 70 or 80% of the market, and imported was only 20 or 30. But when you talk to people on the ground, we knew this was not true. Why? Because we can calculate production by vineyard, how many vineyards are. We can calculate production by fermentation capacity. And we also know some Chinese wineries, when they make wine, let's say they make 2 million liters and they sell 1 million liters to someone else, that 1 million liters gets counted twice. So we knew the numbers were too high. And even 3 years ago, I wrote that imported wine was bigger than local wine. And now those numbers are true. The bad news is imported wine is still not doing very well. Beer production is 85 times bigger. Baijiu is 18 times bigger. And if you look at alcohol by volume, it's 70 times bigger. And by revenue, baijiu is still 40 times bigger than grape wine. And as you mentioned, durian, the stinkiest fruit in the world, imports of durian are double all imported wine. Italian, Australian, Argentinian, all of it is only half of durian. And where's our master of durian class? We don't have one. So I think the industry is too insular. They're not really looking at consumers in general. I'm a little depressed because after 15 years, when I came 15 years ago, I went to a wine shop and I found 70 different sparkling wines, but I couldn't find any craft beer. And I only knew one martini bar. If you go to Beijing today, there's craft beer everywhere. There are cocktail bars everywhere, but there are not very many good wine bars 15 years later. The second thing is, again, we heard about wine education over and over again. We have 8 or 9 master of wines. We have a master sommelier. We have all types of classes. But where is the connection to sales? I think wine education is great for wine educators. They're making money selling classes, doing seminars, representing regions, but I don't really see it connecting with the consumer. And the last thing, I just want to talk a little bit about Chinese wine, which is everyone told Chinese wine producers, if you make quality wine, it's the best decision. Guess what? Ningxia is making amazing wine. Huailai, Shandong. They're winning thousands of medals. I took Jancis Robinson to Ningxia in 2012, and 35 out of 39 wines she rated good or excellent. But where are the sales again? So I think the wine industry in general has to get out of its tunnel vision and learn from craft beer, learn from cocktails, learn from other industries, how to connect to consumers. Sorry, don't want to be too depressing, but that's just how I feel.
I understand very well. I think there was some question I asked help to Margherita if she can report to me what there's some chat. They ask some question to, let me see here. Yes, some people ask some question to Jim Boyce. I asked if somebody even can help me on this, trying to SMS Margherita, because I saw Marco Pizzoli from JV and another one had question, maybe I keep for the end. So I ask big help to Simone and Margherita on the direction. At the same time, let's go back. Thanks, Jim, for your not politically correct, which I like, point of view, and this kind of reality, real facts, data. And Julie is there. I don't see Julie. Julie too, I thought she left the group, but let me see. Let me see. Julie, are you there? I think we lost Julie. The connection in Shanghai maybe was not the best one. Then let us go back then to Jim. It's up to you now again, because we try to get our friend Julie too. Yeah, Julie, yes, she's thanks, Margherita. So we can go back, because actually we talk, actually we share a lot of ideas recently with all these people. We almost on daily basis we talk about the market. If you can say, Jim, how did the taste of Chinese consumer change compared to when you arrived more than 10 years ago in China? You may share also, you know, everybody, especially in Europe, they're checking, you know, Australia now is probably out of the game because of the what is happening, but is it really true this is going to benefit Spanish, Chile, Italian wine? Is it true? How we can see the consumption at the same time the importing? What is your opinion?
I don't think consumer taste changed as much as the consumer situation changed. So what I have observed in China are 3 things. Number one, people have more money. So maybe they wanted to buy wine before and they couldn't afford it. Now they have more money. Everyone has more income. The middle income is bigger. Number 2, the smartphone changed everything. Before smartphones, you went to a wine shop and it was almost all red Bordeaux, Great Wall, and Chongyu. The smartphone suddenly opened up the world of wine to everyone, not just the products, but also the information. Suddenly you can talk to your peers about wine. You can talk to some experts. You can go and Google or Baidu information. So you have more money, you have a smartphone, so you have more information. And number 3, people were traveling or just using the internet to travel in their minds. They were going to Italy, they were going to California. Maybe they studied in California and went to Napa Valley. So they were getting exposure to wine. So I don't really think taste changed that much. I think the ability to buy it, to find it, and to appreciate it changed. I think the problem is the ability to appreciate craft beer and whiskey, even baijiu, it grew faster. Wine is consistently falling behind these other products. And part of it is I think people don't really like Chinese consumers that much. A lot of people come into China and they want to tell people what to like, what to do from a Western perspective. I call it Cabernet colonialism. China has its own tastes, it has its own systems. People look down on Ganbei. I have no problem with Ganbei. Ganbei is a system where the person is more important than the alcohol. There's nothing wrong with that. So I think if we really want wine to be successful here, we have to really embrace Chinese culture, Chinese ways of doing things, Chinese. I don't think the taste is really that big of a deal, to be honest. I really don't. People embrace coffee, and everyone said China would never embrace coffee. I think we have to connect to the consumers better. So who can do that? I'm going to say Italy, just so I can say something positive to them. Italy is going to win.
So who is going to benefit, in your opinion, at the end? Because my consideration is baijiu or other kind of alcohol, or Chinese wine.
One of the problems with the Australia situation is I just went to Huailai, Yantai, and Ningxia, and a lot of people are hoping these Chinese wines that are priced 300, 400, 600, 800 can take over from Penfolds. But there's a reality that maybe people will just stop buying wine and buy more baijiu. Because when you're entertaining, the number one thing is you want a consistent product that impresses people. So whether it's Maotai or Penfolds or Lafite or whatever. So I'm not 100% sure these Chinese wineries can move in. Chilean, maybe, I'm not sure. I will never claim to know 100% this market. I'm a foreigner living here. I can just tell you what I observe. And I think baijiu is very smart about how they do things, cocktails, craft beer, and I think wine has to learn from them. Can I just say one thing about Italian wine? I love Italian wine. It has a 5% market share. How is this possible when pizza and pasta are so popular? People know Italian history, they know fashion brands. And I think the problem is the Italian producers are not reaching the consumer. We have a pizza festival in Beijing every year. 15,000 young people spending 200, 300, 400 RMB. They go and try 6 or 7 pizzas. So they're open-minded. They want to try stuff. And the last 2 had an Italian theme with no Italian wine. So I think Italian producers have to get out on the ground in the restaurants, at the festivals, not just trade fairs, but on the ground.
Thanks. Actually, Jim says something that maybe many people don't like listen to, but it's also a reality. And that's why I think in this time waiting for Julie, she actually, her computer suddenly turned off. It's a kind of destiny sign, but it's okay. But I'm happy that actually what Jim started can keep going very well with Leon. So Leon, I think you can help us a lot on this debate about how to reach the consumers, how to really successfully reach the consumers. Because at the end, you know, we can see many exhibitions, we can see many wine events, we can see a lot of promotion, but at the end, the market is struggling. For instance, let's go to Italy, 7% of the market, and no other big players. The big players are still France and Australia, more than 60% together. So Leon, what do you think? What if, let's say now, let's go a little bit more practical. Of course, all the winemakers, they are wonderful because it's a wonderful job. Farmers and a wonderful entrepreneur. I hope they don't take me wrong, maybe with Italian English, but you know, it's a fantastic, winemaking is fantastic. They are doing a fantastic, difficult, but wonderful job. So how the winemakers, how the wineries can be successful in China and reach the consumers? Thanks, Leon. I know it's a very difficult question, but it's time to also ask these kind of questions.
Thank you, Simone. And
yes.
I have an experience before. I working for the fashion business for 11 years. So while that kind of experience make me to be very clear about every of the Italian brand, if you go for the shopping mall, you can easily tell the difference between the brand Prada and another maybe Gucci. The difference, you tell it easily. But inside wine, you have two bottles of wine. They have different label, but you can tell it's the name, but you don't know what inside, what's the difference. So I will further answer Simone's question after the three answering for the audience, because I already see some of the audience, they do really have some questions. Do you have some questions online? And normally if we're doing live stream, we answer them directly. Then they have more, let's say, brainstorm something, then you know more things. And the first answer is to Natalie. And Natalie telling about, they're selling the wine of Chianti Classico. But when we mention Chianti, people don't think it's a really premium wine. So they just easily stop listening. And because we are inside the wine industry, we think too much about our name, who we are. It's really important. But for the fashion business, they don't think so. And for me, it's the same. So why you have to explain Chianti Classico with that word, Chianti Classico. So you can try to take your wine to some of the competition and you see the feedback. It can be have a very nice mark, let's say 90 for the mark, or you just won different bronze, silver, gold medal. Then when you're talking with the consumer, you don't need to talking anything about the name for the region. You're thinking, do you want to try a wine which won a golden medal? That will be how you niche that market. Even the market is, you don't need to tell you anything. Do you want to sing a song or you lesson a song? A song is from a guy which is a top 50 singer in the world. You don't need to do it's a German guy or some other. So that's the answer to Natalie's, my point, because you are using something like acknowledge part of the person inside their life, which is very important. The other is for Marco, and Marco say they have a decrease on trade, but in Chinese saying, in Chinese culture, people think everything is balanced. So something have the decrease and something they just go upward. So that's the balance in the word. Something have the decrease on trade means on the opposite side, maybe they have an increase of trade. Yeah, by the way, I drink more wines during the period I stay at home. That's true. And also you can try another way like Qingzia do very often. You can do online, and online selling now comes to be a new trend for Chinese market. So we are not just staying at home to doing nothing. We are trying to do more things online, communicate with different people, and they know your wines. For me, it's really important. So for Marco, I think if you want, I think you can try online things. And online things do really helping people consuming more wines at home. The only thing is just you just have less margin, but more people drinking wine. That's true. And another answer for Georgia, you're talking about food one pairing. I think food one pairing is a classical and very nice topic, but that topic is really old for the very classical markets. Everyone can use it. Nowadays, if we're talking about Italian wine can use that topic, which on the other side, Australia wine, South Africa wine, every country, they can use that concept. So my way is to say, who can take up the consumption's acknowledge part? If you can take, you will win the further markets for that. So which is really important is like Mr. Simone did online. We are communicate each other. We are trying to do more promotion. We're trying to create different kind of behavior to let the consumer do more things on Italian wine. Even they go visit Italy, they go for different region. It's emotional things. How you feeling the wine, and then you just endlessly consuming the wine. So for me, it's how to make all the Italian wine to go for their daily life, to take their acknowledged part. That's really important. If they read more frequently to say Brunello di Montalcino, not Cabernet Sauvignon, means the grows up, for Italian wine. And now I go back to my part. And because I'm come from the fashion business before, I only joined wine industry, let's say 6 years. And also I find why the fashion business goes so fast, because everything you can achieve it by the vision. So you can see everything. Now you see I'm in red, Chinzia red, Simone in white, everything's clear. So you can see them clearly, you can feel everything. Same, you make a decision you buy or not. But even the top brand, if we're talking about, we're pulling 2 glasses of wine, one is Gaia, another is Sassigaia, but you find no difference from the 2 wines because we cannot explain them by vision. We can only say them, but we don't tell the difference. For me, it's the very important part. So if we're talking about the future of the Chinese market and wine consumption for Italian wine, I think Chinzia may have more data to say, now we're targeting more for the new lady. The lady, they have age range, maybe 20 to 35. That kind of lady, they would like to stay at home and enjoy wine, they enjoy their life, something. They may be a new target market. And they do really looking more for the out appearance of wine. So I think that's what Italian guys, they do really good at. So they know how to do the design. They know how to make that label. They know how to do that wax part. I see a very nice wine with very nice package, and everyone can remember that because of the out appearance, not because of the wine inside, because they forget label, they forget brand easily. But if we're talking about Chianti, we have a very special package before. It's a straw pack. I don't know why we have it in the Asian days, but nowadays you can use that because it's a traditional thing. We call it fiasco something, but make people remember. It's really different. We will label that. We will do more things for the vision part. And every of the wine, especially for the, let's say, 3rd, 4th tiers of city, they are looking for the wine for some of the consumption surrounding condition things. And I will highly recommend you make your bottle look nice in the very beginning and go with the wine with a proper quality. I think most of Italian wine, they do really have achieved that proper quality. Then you can have a market share in the market. If we're talking about wine, people think French wine, yeah, easily. And Australia, they have a lot of promotion. So nowadays, that's why if we do promotion for Australia, we don't have so many audience because they did it before. But if we do it for Italian wine, every time it can be a new journey. It's a super nice news for us. So that's why monthly, I will do different tasting for Italian wine. So day by day, month by month, they get used to, yeah, some of the face, they will show some of the point of Italian wine. And we go for that best Italian wine in that tasting. In doing so, I think for sure, Italian wine will have a bright future. Sorry, Simone, maybe I talk a little bit too much, but that's
No, it's okay. I like that you are passionate. I know that you study the market, you meet many wine lovers and wine connoisseurs. So not just the wine industry, which is also sometimes our issue.
Sorry, Simone, one last word. If you go for the Chinese market, you don't know what stage the city already fixed. So you can ask one question. That question is really useful for me. Yeah, how often you drink wine? Then you know if they every year I drink once, means they're the fresh guy. So you just easily produce the gold medal Chianti. That's okay. If they say every week I drink once, means they are drinking something really special, and they can be the senior wine user. That's really important. So how often is really important. And then you can talk about what is your favorite wine. If they're talking about some commercial brand, you think, okay, I have to do some also commercial brand for them. And if you're talking some very boutique winery brand, then you know where he or she is. This for me is the way I go for test the Chinese market. When I go for one city, I say, how often? Oh, wow. And what is the brand? And I know the very details. That's the suggestion for all. Thank you.
Yes, thank you, Leon. I'm happy that, let's say that Leon and Jim we put on fire this webinar. I'm very happy to notice this, which is good because the people, you know, I'm talking from, let's say, from the European, Italian perspective. China has always been considered the El Dorado since I arrived in 2012, and yet we are still 7%. and the consumption is almost the same, doesn't change. So everything is stuck at the end in the reality. Of course, all the winemakers from all around the world, they come. At the end, there's something wrong. And probably the point that Leon mentioned, how often you drink wine. And this is very interesting. So let me actually go back to the right person also to answer to these questions, because actually through Jingdong, Cinzia really study the behavior of the consumer about wine, but not just wine and spirits, about the alcohol. So how did this change? I asked Cinzia if she can stay close and talk a little bit slowly. And this, I think, can be very useful to understand. Like, what is the new trend through the e-commerce? Which kind of wine is getting popular? What is the reason why, for instance, online, the people buy wine? What is convincing? Is still the price? People online, they just look for price, or there's a change? Thank you, Cinzia. If you can describe according to your long experience, if you are still very young, but on Jingdong, because Jingdong is a young company. Can you share with all of us how the consumer of Jingdong has changed on pickup, for instance, a bottle of wine? How did this change? Can you help us from your perspective of Jingdong, which is, let's say, something for maybe with some people, they don't know about Jingdong. Jingdong is huge. It's something similar to Amazon, just to give an idea to America and Europe. It's a giant. And in wine is very, very important player, 100%. So Cinzia, if you can help us, it would be wonderful.
Okay, so do you mean to describe some introduction more about the JD's wine business?
Yes, please, it's better. At least the people will understand it, but without making advertisement. Just, try to explain the people they don't know about Jingdong, they know why Jingdong become, first of all, as a general platform, very important. If you want wine, people trust Jingdong. There's no doubt about this. So that means you've done a good job on this. At the same time, also many people don't trust 100% e-commerce. So but I think we don't discuss too much about this, but for us, it's more important, especially for the winemakers, for the distributors, to understand how the consumer, when they go on Jingdong through their mobile phone, how they change their behavior on purchasing wine, which is the trend of the wine on Jingdong.
Okay.
Thanks, Cinzia.
So thank you, Simon. So JD.com, JD.com is a huge company. Now JD listed in Nasdaq and also in Hong Kong. And so actually, JD's wine business, I think JD is we can say it's the largest retailer for many global brands for wine. So I think, JD is established from 1998. The e-commerce business is started from 2004. So not least around 17 years. But from the beginning, JD focused to do zero counterfeit. So that means that JD is really strict about the quality, about the brand image. So we have two business models for JD's wine business. So we can say three business models. So firstly, if you are overseas suppliers or even exporter, you can do cross-border business. You can open a cross-border shops on JD.com. And secondly, if you are importer, so you have two ways to work with JD. Firstly, you can open a shops on JD.com, just like eBay, but you need to in charge of your promotion, your delivery, your service after sales, everything. And the first, another one, the third way to work with JD is the direct sales business. So direct sales business is that, so JD's business, this part of business is more like Amazon. So also this is the biggest part for JD's wine business. So JD will purchase locally purchase the wines from your importer or from your wholesaler. So JD will keep your wines in JD's warehouse. Because JD is this part of business is more like Amazon, but JD owns the biggest advantage is that JD owns our warehouse and the logistic all around China. So everything is in charge by JD. So JD will buy wines first and stock in their warehouse, and our team is in charge of promotion, delivery, everything by JD. So even in the biggest city, Beijing, Shanghai, Guangzhou, if you make order in the morning, you can get it in the evening, even in the afternoon. So it's super fast. That's why. So as we know that like the biggest city is the people is very busy. So JD helps a lot for them to enjoy wine. Yeah, and as I told, JD focused to do zero counterfeit. So we only we need the seller to offer all the documents to show the quality, even the original documents. Yeah. So all we do that, we want to guarantee the wine is real wine. It's good yes. Wine. Yeah. So all of these supports a lot for JD to get the really good reputation for JD's wine business. Yeah, and that's
that's good for JD. That's very good for JD. But actually, my question is more about help to the winemakers. Can yes. you, according to your experience, especially in the last 6-7 months, did yes. did you see some trend in the wine choice from the consumer? Which kind of wine people choose on JD.com? What is the #1 factor to buy a wine in JD.com?
Okay, so yesterday we just talked about the most popular flavors of wine on JD.com. So firstly, it's the wine with very pronounced flavors, and also very soft palate. This kind of wine is also the most popular for the JD's consumer, and also it's quite for Italy wines. We have many. We have many sparkling wines. Yeah, sparkling wines like Asti something. It's also really good sales, because in the past 7 years we can find that maybe you see, because many people they cannot go out for dinner to meet the clients. So most of the clients they change to buy the wines they want to drink at home. So it's just like the daily drinking wine. So this kind of wine is more how to say, maybe more cheaper. It's not for gift, not for the business dinner. So it's cheaper. So the best how to say the most popular price range is around 100 to 200 RMB per bottle. Yeah, this
100 200 RMB per bottle. Just let me, because also this is very important for the winemakers that maybe they don't have the market in China. 100 200 RMB. That's the #1 price range. We can say this.
Yeah, this is for quality wise. For quality wise.
Yes.
But actually,
what about the countries? Cinzia, what about the countries? If you can disclose this data.
I'm sorry for the countries. So actually, for example, for last year is Australia is the biggest one, and French is the second, and thirdly is Chile.
Yes.
Something like
that's
this.
The market.
Yeah.
So let's say Jingdong on this respect the market very well.
Yeah.
What about the number 4 in the ranking? What is the #4 after Chile?
Number 4, I think it's Italy or Spain. But
so it's the market. It really represents very well the market. Let's say.
Yeah, I want to let you know that the Italy wise is growing fast. So just 1 week ago for the Double 11 promotion, As you know, we have Italy pavilion on JD.com, right? It's number 9 for the revenue sales for the shops, wine shops.
Yes.
Yeah, from
I understand.
Costco. Yes.
That's very good. So let's say then, because this I think can help the export manager. They are probably online with us, the winemakers. Which kind of wine doesn't work at all in JD? Which is the one you say, please don't even try to sell on JD.
Okay.
Avoid mistakes.
Okay, so yeah, as I said, because my new company will import wines from all over the world for JD. Yes, so I know a lot about what's the demands from JD and also JD's customer. So firstly, we prefer to select the wine, the quality wine, for example, with some how to say, some history, and also with some ratings, high ratings, even some awards. So this is, we need something to show the quality online. So I think this is the most important. So yeah, so for the winemaker and the winery, I think you need to prepare some information like this. And secondly, because just now I saw a question I want to say. So for Italy wise, we prefer the classic label. It works better on JD.com. So for example, because if you are an Italy producer but you use a very modern label, so maybe it doesn't work too much unless you need to invest a lot to do the online promotion. For example, you need to buy the banner, you need on JD's homepage, or maybe you need to invest in the other social apps to attract the consumers. Yeah, so my answer is that if you create a new product but without any story, yeah, or any sales points, so maybe you need some time to wait to work for e-commerce.
I understand. Cinzia, thanks for also the, I need to ask some questions because, I know I need also to be frank, and then, I get back to the question that actually we have many, many questions. Thanks, Margherita, for the wonderful help. I'm realizing I'm a disaster on Zoom. I'm better on WeChat. But thanks, Margherita and Simone, for your support. Thanks, first of all, Cinzia, to share with us some important points about the wine. But now let's get back to some of the question, and we get back to Jim. To Jim Boyce, please, Cinzia, don't leave us. Actually, our CEO, Verona Fiere, is going to be say hello to everybody in a few minutes. But I would like to start first, keep going. I think we almost finished, Margherita, if I'm not wrong. So I hope we are not too long. But there are the question of many people. So let me also say hello to Jean Linzan, I think from London. That she asked a question that, let's say, collect many of the questions that the viewers are asking. And this is to Jean. How the experience of whiskey, beer by Joe can help to sell wine on one side. And the second question, and then is about natural wine, which is a kind of new trend in China. And the other question is also Chinese wine. So I think that one of the best person together with Leon is Jim. Jim, from your Beijing, what is your perspective about how to reach the consumer successfully with the wine, how already the beer is doing and how the whiskey is doing?
Can I just focus on craft beer? Because I saw craft beer go from 0 to dominating wine in Beijing. I'm not going to claim Beijing represents all of China. We're a very special market. But during the coronavirus crisis, how did beer companies and wine companies react to consumers? One of my local beer companies took their beer on the road in a car and drove to apartment complexes. You could walk out and buy their beer. Another beer company imported wine or beer from Wuhan. Wuhan was locked down. They imported wine from Wuhan and sold it in Beijing to their own customers to help the Wuhan brewery. What did wine companies do? Nothing. They lowered their price. Their only strategy was to lower the price. Cocktail bars, everyone started bottling cocktails and selling them for delivery. But wine had no solution for this situation. So that's coronavirus crisis. Let me talk about craft beer in general. Why is craft beer so popular? Because food matters in China.
Food matters in China.
If you talk to people in Beijing about why they like a craft brewery, they love the burger, or they love the beer comes number two. So if you're doing a wine bar and your number one food is a cheese plate, say bye-bye, because how many times will a Chinese person go for the plate? There's a 1% group that might go, but so where craft breweries win is with food, shareable food. And then you put the wine on top of that, or the beer. So I think wine bars should be copying craft beer on food and also on merchandise. Every day I see people on the street with t-shirts from craft beer companies in Beijing. They're walking ambassadors for this brand. I've never seen one wine bar with a t-shirt I can buy and walk around. And people say, where'd you get that shirt? So I think people in the wine business are so into their certification, into their own clients that they forget who the consumer is. Leon said something very interesting. He said when he mentioned Chianti Classico, people don't say it's premium. In my wine tastings, people don't know what Chianti is. They don't even ask what grape variety the wine is. It's a red or it's a white. And the last thing I'm going to say is I started working at the American Chamber of Commerce, and somebody in the car business told me something very important. He said, Jim, I don't care about the 50 million Chinese who bought a car. They already have brand loyalty. I care about the next 200 million. So I feel the wine trade is focusing on the same consumers over and over again, and they're not going after the next 200 million. Because there's a lot of people out there who don't even know what Cabernet is, and they have money, and they want to explore, and we need to find them and get that money. That's what the goal should be for me. Go Italy.
By the way, Jim, I think he's drinking Chinese wine from Shandong, if I don't remember wrong what you said before the connection. So let me go back. Thanks, Jim. Thanks for what you say. Because, you know, food matters in China. There's another point. So let me ask some of the people ask me, actually, Cinzia is working in JD, like Jolly and Diamond, JD.com, but she's working for the same group. Actually, Sun Long is the name of the group. Later, to our colleagues, I give you also the contacts, everything. Let me go back to Leon, because, you know, I see the question of many, I can see export managers, some people also winemakers, enologists, they ask. And they ask actually, because I'm realizing many Italians, which I say hello to everybody, they complain one thing. The Italian wine is not successful in China. And they ask always help. So there are millions of consultants, millions of consortium, millions of disaster, and millions of fiasco. That's also the reality. Leon, try to help in a decent, professional, elegant way. Why Italian wine, first of all, is not successful? Can you give us at least some tips, according to you, that we can be successful one day in China? If you see this opportunity. If you don't see, just say it. Thanks.
Yes, I think so. And which is really important is just because of Italian people, little bit, they love themselves too much. They are thinking about their varieties, the Sangiovese grape, Nebbiolo grape. They are great, they are delicate, but it's not easy for the consumer people remember that name. Even the Chianti Classico is not easy. Yeah, but nowadays it changed because, you know, the market grow up. Then people thinking about they should should read more different varieties in the world. And just in front of me, we have the full classroom of people. They were joining a WSET level 2 courses exam in maybe 5 minutes. So they are looking for different varieties. They have to know everything of that region's variety of things. So don't worry about the future. Your problem is only nowadays you meet the problem. Later it will change. And also I pick up some of the question from Nicola. You're talking about Malvasia. And Malvasia for me is aromatic, not high acidity variety. You don't need to mention even the name of the variety. And for David, you're talking about eat and drink the food one pairing part. It's a saying, but actually it doesn't work only for Italian wine. It's working for all the wines in the world. And also for Sophia to say which award is really important, have more influence in fact in Chinese markets. My point of view, you need to have at least one award in advance. Then later you're thinking about decanter, IWC, and Gambeloso, really important. And Erika talking about someone buying the very expensive wines. I think if you're picking up one wine, it needs to be expensive enough or cheap enough. And for Marco talking about some influencer, I think you can looking for Cinzia for the live stream. And also you can look me as one educator. And if you are looking for some one fair, I think Vin Italy is your choice in Chinese market. And also Sabrina talking about some nice label. I just asking one of my colleagues, bring me one bottle of this. So you can see the label, really simple, natural wine with a wax here. I think it could be a nice look for that wine label. And really easy. And for Angela,
Julio, you look a very good sales of Malvasia and natural wine.
Yes, and the natural wine. Yeah, natural wine is very popular. The top 4 winery, I can say wine bar in China, especially in Shanghai, is all natural wine bar. Can you believe that? All natural wine bar. We have different wine bar, but always natural wine. And they have someone, Angela, talking about the classical method. I think if the price is very competitive, it will be a good deal. And also Fila can be one of the last one. Fila talking about if we have something to follow the traditional things, or we have to meet the new demand from Chinese markets. I think we have a saying here, the national things are very international for sure. So keep your traditional parts, make sure it is not ugly, then you'll be fine. You will have the future market for sure. Yeah, I think that's all my answers, Simone. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Cinzia. Thank you, Leon. Thank you, Jim, for the vision, for the passion, for the decency that you have, which is for me also very important quality of a professional person. I thank here a lot Alan that he took notes of all the things we said, and I also have to, we are on the WeChat group. We create a WeChat group with also Julie. The official version is that she has some trouble with the laptop, but let me give an occasion, because Julie too actually wrote a fantastic story about wine, especially also natural wine, because I fall in love with natural wine. I would like to keep going what Leon mentioned. Of course, the market in China is huge, and natural wine is of course a niche, is a trend, but it's a still niche. With this, we don't hide this, but also from Shenzhen and from Guangzhou, where we are now, the weekend, must in Guangzhou, these are the most popular wine bar in the south part of China. In Shanghai, I will share later in the group, and then also to our digital platform of Wine to Wine, a digital edition. We're going to share all the contacts and the people are experiencing now. And so this is very, very important. Natural wine, we are going to do something for an exhibition that nobody has done before. First of all, the gentleman from Canada living in Beijing is coming down to Shenzhen. It will make a Marcelin tasting, and everybody's waiting also for that. At the same time, he and I, who is a kind of very important key opinion leader, is going to do an orange wine masterclass from Slovenia. Italy, of course, will be with 76 exhibitors. There will be Franciacorta Consorzio. There's going to be Italian spirits. So we're going to be pretty good. And there's going to be a lot of wine, a lot of Italian, a lot of Chile, a lot of Spanish from Rioja, and a lot of natural wine. So I hope everything is going to be okay. So let me go back and pass the word to our CEO. over una fiere. The gentleman, my boss, like China very, very much, usually come 2-3 times per year, at least in China. He knows China since many years ago. I hope he's online. And Hector, thanks everybody. Actually, let's see if our CEO is in.
Thank you everyone for this very, very high quality discussion. It was a very interesting panel, and I learned a lot, I'm sure, about the market, the Chinese market, about the wines. Every time I understand something more, because I think that the approach to the Chinese market for the Italian wine is really step by step, because we could not understand everything in one step, but we need to go on step by step to understand better what the market is doing, what is changing. And this morning, a lot of questions are on the table. I am very happy because in a few days, we are going to open the first edition of a wine exhibition organized directly by an Italian exhibition organizer. And I want really to thank Simone and Alan together, because they realized this dream. And I think that is very useful for the Italian wineries, but also for the people that works in the wine industry in China, to have one point of reference, one new point of contact with Italian wine, managed directly from Italy. And managed directly from Italy, but managed in China. This is the new beginning of our history as Vinitaly in the Chinese market, and is a very important news. Second point, I wanted to say that it's very interesting for me. After a long time, I traveled, I visited China, to see that the discussion about wines in general has increased the quality of what the people think about these products. I mean that I remember that more than 10 years ago, when I come there for the first time, in general, wine was not so popular in China. And it's not a problem now if the bestseller is Chilean or French or the Chinese producer, but the quality of the market is increasing. The market is looking to the wines with a better attention, and this is the point. So this is a very good opportunity also for the Italian wines. Just after the exhibition, Wine to Asia in Shenzhen, will start with the Wine to Wine forum and exhibition just a few days later, and that is a good occasion to understand better also for you and for the Italian wineries how to operate in the new Chinese market. Also, the forum in Wine to Wine has a lot of change. For example, there are more speakers coming from China, and this also is a signal of what is changing about the relation between the Chinese market and the Italian producer. On the other side, Vinitaly is realizing a new digital platform. And I think that this is a very good opportunity to connect better the Italian wines with the Chinese market. I know how important is to use digital, to use social, the Chinese social, to communicate with the Chinese market. And we are doing better and better this. The last thing I want to say, because I heard that in China is very important to have some awards, some price to make the wine better and to understand by the consumer. We organized also a competition about the wine from 4 years ago. And this competition is the 5 stars wines competition. And I think that for the next exhibition of wine to Asia, we could also organize a selection of the winner of these awards to have a better view of who is the best, which are the best wines in Italy, and how to promote better them in the Chinese market. So finally, I think that we have to increase this kind of cooperation, this kind of discussion to understand better the market and to do the right things in this new beginning of Vinitaly presence in the China market. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Mantovani. Thank you, our CEO. And now is the moment of thanks, because everything is possible because many people work on this Zoom call. Actually, I'm realizing I'm a disaster. Even Alan is even more disaster than me on Zoom. But we love WeChat. We live in the WeChat world. I'm realizing after this. But let me thank all the people that were connected with Zoom. Our gratitude to all of you. Our gratitude to all our team in Verona Fiere team, starting from Ivana, again with Grande Margherita, Simone, all the IT department, all the Vinitaly brand. So remember, save the date. I try not to be too much advertorial. I was complaining to Cinzia, but I'm becoming advertorial as well. 2021 is going to be Wine to Asia Shenzhen, then 21 Forum, then Wine to Wine exhibition, digital edition, 22nd up to 24. People connecting from all around the world, and Wine to Wine Forum. So we're doing our best. And I also remind that in Brazil, at the beginning of November, we made also something fantastic with Wine of South America. So a big thank to all the speakers for the kindness, for the decency, for the respect. Together with Margherita, I promise to all the people who ask a question, contacts with the panelists, we try to do our best to connect all each other and to help all of you to make business. And that's also what Verona Fiere and Vinitaly, they're doing. So Alan, say something beautiful in Chinese. Welcome to Shenzhen in Chinese. I think it's going to be very nice.
Save the day. 谢谢大家，请大家来深圳。
Buona giornata a tutti. Buonasera anche in Cina. Bye bye. Grazie a tutti.
Bye bye. I miss China. I miss China.
Hope to see you soon in China.
Grazie Cinzia. Grazie Leon.